A very good evening. You're watching News at 6 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the headlines today. Vijay Rupani takes oath as Gujarat Chief Minister, Nitin Patel as his deputy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah among top BJP leaders who attend the ceremony in Gandhinagar. Jairam Thakur to be now sworn in as the new Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh tomorrow. Mother and wife of Kulbhushan Jadhav narrate their bitter experience after their meeting in Islamabad. India says Pakistan violated the spirit of their agreement. In a retaliatory strike, Indian Army kills 3 Pakistani soldiers during cross-border operation along the line of control in Rawalkot sector. 1 Pakistani soldier injured in the gunfire. And Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti expresses hope that people will choose ballots over bullets during Panchayat elections. State government plans to hold the polls next February. Beginning with the day's top story, Vijay Rupani was sworn in today as the Chief Minister of Gujarat for the 2nd term in a row. Nitin Patel also took oath as his deputy at a grand ceremony in Gandhinagar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and Chief Ministers of various BJP-ruled states attended the ceremony.
Vijay Kumar Ramniklal Rupani, Ishwarna Name.
Vijay Rupani taking oath as the Chief Minister of Gujarat on Tuesday. Governor O.P. Kohli administered the oath of office to Rupani and his deputy Nitin Patel at a grand ceremony at the helipad ground in Gandhinagar. For the BJP, which won Gujarat for the 6th straight term, the ceremony was a massive show of strength. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and Chief Ministers of 18 BJP-ruled states attended the ceremony. Among the BJP allies, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar was also present, along with his deputy Sushil Kumar Modi. Several union ministers and senior BJP leaders were also there. Apart from the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, 18 ministers were also sworn in. They included Bhupendra Singh Chudasma, R.C. Faldu, Kaushik Patel, Saurav Patel, Ganpat Singh Wasawa, Jayesh Radadia, Dilip Thakur and Ishwar Parmar, who were sworn in as cabinet-rank ministers. Ministers of state who took oath were Pradeep Singh Jadeja, Parbat Patel, Jayadrat Singh Parmar, Raman Patkar, Parshottam Solanki, Ishwar Singh Patel, Vasan Ahir, Kishore Kanani, Bachubhai Khabar and Vibhari Ben Dave. 5 of the 9 cabinet ministers were retained from the previous ministry. Ministers of state included 5 from the earlier ministry. Vibhari Ben Dave is the lone woman in the new ministry, while 6 ministers belong to the Patel community. With 99 MLAs, the BJP has a simple majority in the 182-member Assembly, 16 less than its 2012 tally of 115. The opposition Congress added 16 more seats to its 2012 tally of 61 seats. The strength of the party and its allies in the new house is 80. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Moving on, the mother and wife of Indian prisoner on Pakistani death row, Kulbhushan Jadhav, returned safely from Islamabad after meeting him at the Pakistan's Foreign Affairs Ministry office on Monday. But while the meeting did take place after months of diplomatic pressure from India, Pakistan reportedly violated the spirit of the agreement in conducting the meeting. India says the so-called humanitarian gesture of Pakistan in allowing the 2 family members to meet Jadhav lacked credibility.
On their return from Pakistan, Kulbhushan Jadhav's mother Avantika Jadhav and his wife Chetana Jadhav met External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Tuesday. Minister of State for External Affairs BK and Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar were also present at the meeting, where they apprised Sushma Swaraj about what transpired during their interaction with Pakistani death row prisoner Kulbhushan Jadhav in Islamabad.
उनकी मां और पत्नी से इस्लामाबाद में मुलाकात हुई थी। यह मुलाकात भारत सरकार के अनुरोध के बाद आयोजित की गई थी। इस मुलाकात से पहले दोनों देशों की सरकारें अपने राजनयिक चैनलों के माध्यम से इसके तौर तरीकों और स्वरूप को अंतिम रूप देने के संबंध में संपर्क में थी। दोनों पक्षों के बीच इस बारे में स्पष्ट सहमति थी और भारतीय पक्ष ने अपनी सभी वचनबद्धताओं का निष्ठापूर्वक पालन किया।
But India said the Jadhav family meeting was not conducted in the spirit it was agreed between the two countries. Giving details of the meeting, the MEA said Kulbhushan Jadhav was forced to speak to them only in English and not in Marathi, their mother tongue.
From the feedback we have received of the meeting, it appears that Sri Jadhav was under considerable stress and is speaking in an atmosphere of coercion. Most of his remarks were clearly tutored and designed to perpetuate the false narrative of his alleged activities in Pakistan. His appearance also raises questions of his health and well-being. We also regret that, contrary to assurances, the overall atmosphere of the meeting was intimidating insofar as family members were concerned.
Disclosing further details, the MEA spokesperson said the Pakistani press was allowed to harass and hector them under the pretext of security. Both women were forced to discard the Mangal Sutra, bangles and bindi and change their dress before they met Jadhav. Deputy High Commissioner J.P. Singh was kept behind an additional partition that didn't allow him access to the meeting as was agreed. The Pakistani authorities further kept Chetna Jadhav's shoes and didn't return them.
We would caution against any mischievous intent in this regard. The manner in which the meeting was conducted and its aftermath was clearly an attempt to bolster a false and unsubstantiated narrative of Sri Jadhav's alleged activities. You would all agree that this exercise lacked any credibility.
Kulbhushan Jadhav's case is being heard by the International Court of Justice after Pakistan unilaterally pronounced the death sentence on him. India is expected to increase efforts to counter the Pakistani propaganda to defame it.
The aim is to get Kulbhushan Jadhav back from Pakistan to India. And the inputs got from Kulbhushan Jadhav's mother and wife will be helpful in India's case in International Court of Justice. Now it will be interesting to see that how Pakistan quickly gives consular access to India's officials. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Raj Thakur in Delhi.
The Indian Army today said it killed 3 Pakistani soldiers during a cross-border operation along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rawalkot sector. The firing took place around 6 p.m. on Monday. The strike is seen as a retaliatory measure against the killing of 4 Indian Army personnel by Pakistan last week. A Pakistani soldier was also reportedly injured in the gunfire. The operation involved Indian troops reportedly using IED, light machine guns and assault rifle fire. The incident comes 2 days after Pakistani troops killed an Indian Army major and 3 Jawans and injured another in Keri sector of Rajouri district.
हमारी सेना कमजोर नहीं है और पाकिस्तान की द्वारा ये हरकत की गई है, इसको हम क्षमा नहीं कर सकते। हमारे जवान और रक्षा मंत्रालय में वो ताकत भी है, हमारे फोर्सेस में ताकत है और 3 दिन में इसका जवाब मिल चुका है और हम किसी भी हालत में पाकिस्तान की किसी भी हरकतों को जवाब देने के लिए हमारे जवान तैयार हैं।
भारतीय सेना ने ये कार्रवाई की है तो ये स्वागत योग्य है और स्वाभाविक रूप से देश चाहता है कि इस तरह की बातें नहीं हो हमारे सैनिकों के साथ जो बॉर्डर पे हो रहा है। पाकिस्तान लगातार पिछले 2-3 वर्षों में सीज फायर का इतना जबरदस्त उल्लंघन कर रहा है। हमारे सेना के लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, हमारे जो सिविलियंस है वो मारे जा रहे हैं।
हमारे आर्मी और सेना और अपने जवानों को हम हर समय सलामी करते रहे हैं कि वो अपनी देश की सुरक्षा के लिए अपनी जान हथेली पे रखकर वो जो है ये काम करते आए। उसी वजह से अपना देश की ताकत आज 70 साल जो अपनी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने जो भूमिका अदा की उसका एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान है कि हम जिस प्रकार से आज है एक स्वतंत्र देश के रूप में।
A top Jaish-e-Mohammed commander was also killed by security forces in an encounter in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir today. The militant was identified as Noor Muhammad Tantre. He was shot dead in South Kashmir's Sambura district. A weapon was reportedly recovered from the encounter site. Acting on a tip-off, a crack team of Jammu and Kashmir police cordoned off a house that resulted in a fierce gun battle leading to the elimination of the top Jaish-e-Mohammed commander. 47-year-old Noor Muhammad is considered the brain behind the terror outfit's revival in the valley. He was wanted in various terror incidents, including a suicide attack at a BSF camp at the Srinagar airport. The Jammu and Kashmir police termed the killing as a significant breakthrough.
ये बहुत ही नटोरियस टेररिस्ट था और इसको काफ़ी केसेस में जो हाईवे पे अटैक हुए हैं उसमें ये इसकी इन्वॉल्वमेंट पाई गई है और ये जैश मोहम्मद से ताल्लुक़ रखता था और अभी भी प्लान कर रहा था कुछ अटैक करने का.
And staying with news from Jammu and Kashmir, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti expressed hope that people will choose ballots over bullets during the Panchayat elections scheduled to start next February. Mehbooba Mufti, who met Governor N.N. Vohra on Monday, said that her government wanted to hold the elections from February 15th. Continued unrest after the killing of Burhan Wani in 2016 prevented Panchayat elections from being held. The elections could not be held this year either, following violence during a by-poll to the Srinagar parliamentary constituency on the 8th of April. The violence left 8 people dead and forced the cancellation of the by-poll to Anantnag parliamentary constituency. And time now to take a look at what else is making news across the country in our segment Nationwide. The Home Ministry sanctioned 167 crore rupees to 9 states for the development of infrastructure in forward areas under the Border Area Development Programme. These states include Meghalaya, Punjab, Rajasthan, Bihar, Sikkim, Tripura, Assam, Himachal Pradesh and West Bengal. All these states have an international border. However, priority is given to villages that are identified by border guarding forces for speedy development of infrastructure. South superstar Rajnikant said he will announce his final call on entering politics on the 31st of December. Addressing his fans on the opening day of a 6-day-long photo session with followers, the actor also said he was hesitant to enter the politics. A central team is visiting Tamil Nadu and Kerala to assess the damage caused by Cyclone Oki. In Tamil Nadu, an inter-ministerial team from the centre will visit Kanyakumari district to review the damage. In Kerala, the team will be led by Additional Secretary in Home Department Vipin Malik. It will visit various coastal areas and also meet top state officials. The team will submit a report based on the centre's assessment. The cold wave tightened its grip in the national capital with mercury settling at 7.1 degrees Celsius. Thick smog reduced visibility in the city, delaying several trains. At least 10 northbound trains were cancelled while several others were delayed. The Delhi Jal Board today announced a hike of 20% in water tariff. However, there will be no change in tariff for consumption of up to 20,000 litres per month. The hike will come into effect from February next year. The decision was reportedly taken at a meeting headed by Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. And we'll take a short break here. News and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Hello and welcome to this year-end special episode of Security Scan. I am Vishal Dahiya.
The most dangerous thing that could happen in defense modernization is political rhetoric. And political rhetoric seems to have overtaken pragmatism.
Between submarines, that is sea denial, and an aircraft carrier, what would you prioritize?
If modernization has to move forward, it has to be focused. There should be somebody monitoring it very closely.
One of the most influential revolutionaries of Indian freedom struggle, Shaheed Bhagat Singh. Born into a Sikh family, patriotism flowed in his blood at the age of 13.
when he formed Naujawan Bharat Sabha to spread the message of revolution in Punjab. In the wake of avenging Lala Lajpat Rai's death, Bhagat Singh and his associates coined the catchphrase Inqilab Zindabad. But towards the end of their rebellion, they had to pay a heavy price for their patriotism. Following the blasts inside the corridors of the Assembly, both Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt courted arrest. Bhagat Singh was sent to the gallows in Lahore with his fellow comrades, after which he was cremated in Husainiwala on the banks of Satluj.
Thanks for staying with us. On to some international news now. Foreign ministers of China, Pakistan and Afghanistan today held their first trilateral dialogue in Beijing. The three sides reiterated their firm to resolve to fight the menace of terrorism, while deciding not to allow any nation, group or individual to use their territories for terror activities. The foreign ministers also discussed development, security and counter-terrorism during their first trilateral. This was the first meeting of its kind ever since the three countries agreed to establish a trilateral dialogue mechanism in June this year. Foreign ministers of Pakistan and Afghanistan reaffirmed that a broad-based, inclusive peace and reconciliation process, which is Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and fully supported regionally and internationally, was the most viable solution to end the violence in Afghanistan. China and Pakistan will also look at extending their $57 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor to Afghanistan as part of China's ambitious Belt and Road Plan linking China with Asia. In fact, it will also link Europe and beyond. The second China-Afghanistan-Pakistan Foreign Ministers Dialogue will be held in Kabul next year.
中国和巴基斯坦，我们双方愿意同阿富汗一道，本着互利和共赢的原则，来探讨中巴经济走廊以适当的方式向阿富汗的延伸。双方同意尽快的改善彼此的关系，实现双方的和睦相处和共生共存。双方都一致表达了绝不会允许任何人、任何势力利用自己一方的领土来从事反对和破坏另一方的行动。
The successful implementation of CPEC projects will serve as a model for enhancing connectivity and cooperation through similar projects with neighboring countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, and with Central and West Asia.
Thousands of Peruvians poured onto the streets of Lima to show their anger at the authorities' decision to pardon former President Alberto Fujimori. Fujimori was shifted from the jail to a hospital last week due to ill health. Peruvian President Kuczynski's decision to pardon Fujimori is being seen with suspicion, as it has been alleged that he did it to save himself from an impeachment.
Chants of no to the pardon rent the air as thousands gathered in Peru's capital, Lima, during a second day of unrest that began on Christmas Eve. Police fired tear gas and clashed with the protesters who were angry at the authorities' decision to pardon ex-president Alberto Fujimori. President Pedro Pablo Kuczynski pardoned Fujimori on health grounds and said despite the anger at his decision, he could not allow Alberto Fujimori to die in prison.
Estoy convencido que quienes nos sentimos demócratas no debemos permitir que Alberto Fujimori muera en la prisión. La justicia no es venganza. Todo indulto es por esencia controversial. Hay un grupo importante de peruanos que se oponen al mismo. Mi decisión es especialmente compleja y difícil, pero es mi decisión. No debo ser yo solo el presidente de los que votaron por mí, debo serlo de todos los peruanos. Las heridas abiertas solo podrán curarse a partir de un esfuerzo reconciliador y de una voluntad de la que todos debemos formar parte.
Fujimori is serving 25 years for human rights abuses and corruption. He was convicted of authorizing killings carried out by death squads. Fujimori was moved from jail to a hospital last week to be treated for dropping blood pressure and abnormal heart rhythm. Kuczynski has denied pardoning Fujimori as part of a deal with his party to avoid his own impeachment for allegedly receiving illegal payments from a Brazilian construction giant.
Se está exigiendo la renuncia a él y la recondenan nuevamente de este genocida de Alberto Fujimori y todo lo que tiene que ser la bancada fujimorista, aprista realmente todo el Congreso. El pueblo boliviano está en todo su derecho a una insurgencia nacional.
He visto a toda la gente movilizándose, he visto a los policías cuando nos han seguido, nos han cercado, nos han tirado bombas. Yo digo, PPK, o sea, encima que nos hace esto, se aprovecha de nosotros en las fiestas, no nos deja expresar nuestro derecho de protestar libremente.
The pardon has not found much support within Kuczynski's party either, with two leaders having resigned to protest the pardon. However, still some support left for Fujimori. Some Peruvians admire the former president for combating Maoist rebels, but his critics call him a corrupt dictator. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more international updates in the Global Buzz. UK's Defence Ministry said a British frigate escorted a Russian warship through the North Sea near UK waters on Christmas Day. Frigate HMS St. Albans departed on the 23rd of December to keep watch on the new Russian warship, Admiral Goshko, as it passed close to UK territorial waters. The British frigate remained at sea on Monday, monitoring the Russian vessel, and was due to return to Portsmouth. Liberians are choosing a new president in a runoff vote between Vice President Joseph Boakai and former international footballer George Weah. Weah won the first round but did not secure the required 50% of the vote for an outright victory. Legal challenges delayed the vote to replace Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female president. Unemployment in Japan fell to its lowest level since November 1993. Figures released by the government showed unemployment at 2.7% last month, while the jobs to applicants ratio improved slightly up 0.01% from the previous month to 1.56 in November. And let's now bring you all the sports news in Sports Beat. While a raging debate continues on whether Virat Kohli is among the best batsmen in the world, former chief selector of the Indian cricket team Sandeep Patil has said the Indian skipper is not even the best batsman in Team India as far as limited overs cricket is concerned. Patil thinks that Rohit Sharma is currently a better batsman than Kohli when it comes to ODIs and T20s. However, he conceded that Kohli is India's best batsman in Test cricket.
Here it is.
Australia opener David Warner struck a century as England continued to struggle on the opening day of the Boxing Day Test in Melbourne. Warner dazzled with some fine stroke play in one-sided morning session against the England side that has already lost the Ashes series 0-3. After Warner was dismissed, captain Steve Smith continued the round, making an unbeaten half-century to guide Australia to 244th for the loss of 3 wickets. England are now looking to avoid a second successive Ashes whitewash down under and third in 11 years. AB de Villiers will lead South Africa in his comeback test match against Zimbabwe after regular captain Faf du Plessis was ruled out for the historic 4-day test. He is still recovering from lower back and shoulder injuries. De Villiers hasn't played a test in almost 2 years. South Africa are now hoping that du Plessis will recover in time for the first test against India in Cape Town, which starts on the 5th of January. Fast bowling from Trent Boult and Matt Henry took New Zealand to victory in the third ODI against West Indies, completing a dominant series sweep. Boult took a career-best bowling figure of 7 for 34. New Zealand won the rain-interrupted clash by 66 runs on the DL method. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.